Welcome to this DW Business Special, asking if Russia can use cryptocurrencies to dodge international sanctions. To tackle that question and hopefully a few others as well, I'm joined by Alena Epifanova from the German Council on Foreign Relations. It's great to have you with us, Alena. You've got a particular interest in how Russia uses digital technology, haven't you? So is that a weapon that it plans to wield to get around Western sanctions?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yes, I really think Russia tries to be creative in the situation under sanctions and look for tools which are not very well regulated or not regulated at all. And cryptocurrency is such a tool which can provide some opportunities to evade financial sanctions.
Well, let's just go a little bit deeper into the context of why Russia would want to be using cryptocurrencies. So Russia's invasion of Ukraine triggered an onslaught of international sanctions, the likes of which had never been seen before. Western allies aimed to damage the country's economy by targeting its banking sector. Russia was cut off from the SWIFT system that enables bank transfers across international borders. The United States is also blocking Russian institutions from using US dollars, the currency of choice, of course, for the vast majority of international trade. And Western governments have also frozen some $600 billion of Russia's foreign reserves. So now Moscow is looking to work outside of the traditional financial system, and it's looking to cryptocurrencies. Alena Epifanova, exactly how is Russia hoping to use cryptocurrency then?
So Russia hopes to use cryptocurrency for its international trade and cross-border transactions, because Russia is in the situation where it has troubles for its export, but also for import. And because, as you mentioned, it can't use neither dollars nor euro bank system. And that's why, so the idea is first to regulate cryptocurrency within the country, because for now, there's no regulation, no legislation within the country how it will be done. And we see some ideas and we see some legislation proposals in that direction. And then also to find actually countries which will be willing to do this trade via cryptocurrency with Russia.
It's interesting. Have we seen quite a stark change in Russia's attitude, and particularly that of the Russian central bank towards cryptocurrencies? Because it doesn't seem that long ago, and it was before, admittedly, the war, that we were talking about Russia banning cryptocurrencies. I mean, the central bank doesn't seem to want them to be used in Russia, that's for sure.
Yes, exactly. Just in January 2022, before the invasion in February, the central bank said so it will completely prohibit using cryptocurrency in Russia and also mining of cryptocurrency. And then we observed that after the invasion, so the situation started to change, and we observed some kind of dialogue between the Ministry of Finance, which usually was supportive of some regulation of cryptocurrency, and the central bank, and especially kind of a deal to introduce regulation for cryptocurrency in using it for international trade.
Russia is obviously left with this need to use something else for international trade because of how it's lost access to the US dollar and the euro. Alena, just stay with us, but I just want to go into the background of that as well. Let's just have a look at just how reliant Russia was before the war on euros and US dollars for its international trade purposes. I mean, if we have a look at 2021, the last full year before the invasion of Ukraine and imposition of sanctions by the US and European Union, you can see that Russia was conducting more than half of its trade in US dollars. Second came the euro, and its own currency, the ruble, only came in third. An assortment of other currencies made up the remainder. So Alena Epifanova from the German Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, how is Russia conducting foreign trade without the same access to dollars and euros at the moment?
Well, there are different ideas how to do it. So Russia tried to bring its trade partners to have transactions in ruble. But we also observe that now is rather drifting to the yuan transactions in yuan, and also we see that the amount of contracts have been risen in the last time significantly. And we also see that so Russia again tries to understand if it will be possible to do some trade in cryptocurrencies, and now there are some talks with Iran to introduce stablecoins for them trade between these two countries.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Iran seems to be on board with this idea, but trade is a two-way street, and presumably Russia can't just rely on Iran for trading. So it would have to persuade more countries to get involved with cryptocurrency, wouldn't it?
Yes, it should be involved more country in this. And again, so Russia is not, it doesn't do the whole trade in the cryptocurrency yet. But the idea is to get it in the future and to find ways how to do it. So that's why, first of all, they should introduce regulation within Russia.
And how exactly would the trading work? Would both sides have to have some sort of cryptocurrency account, some sort of cryptocurrency reserves to make this take place? And what are we talking about when we talk about a cryptocurrency? One that already exists or something that they would want to create?
So Russia will need to be involved with cryptocurrency exchange, and we already see some difficulty in these directions because U.S. Treasury already warned in sanctioning cryptocurrency exchange platforms, and also because of the volatility of their cryptocurrency, it might be highly unlikely that many countries will be involved into cryptocurrency trade with Russia. So that's why it's an idea which is very risky, and it's still unknown which countries might be willing to have trade with Russia in cryptocurrencies. And for now, that's why we see that the more prospects Russia have with China to do trade in yuan and to use it for their trade in the future.
OK, Alena, stay with us. But as Alena just said, Russia's not alone in its plans to use cryptocurrencies for international trade. Reports do suggest that it is working with another heavily sanctioned regime. That is, the regime of Iran. Tehran and Moscow appear to be working on a plan to develop a so-called stablecoin together. That's a cryptocurrency that's supposed to be less volatile than conventional cryptos because it's pegged to the value of a real-world commodity. Russia and Iran are reportedly planning to peg their stablecoin to gold. So Russia is hoping that using a stablecoin, Alena, will shield it from the predictability of conventional cryptocurrencies. Actually, let's just remind ourselves of just how volatile they can be. Just have a look at this. This is the value of Bitcoin over the past couple of years. As you can see, it has fluctuated wildly, and cryptocurrencies in general have seen their values plummet in recent months. Alena, is there a danger that by engaging so closely with Iran, though, Russia alienates some of its other trading partners?
Well, I think Russia hopes to learn from Iran how to avoid sanctions and how to make trade avoiding dollars. So that's why, and also, to have some test ground for cryptocurrencies. I don't think what it will, it will complement the whole payment system which Russia needs now. And that's why this is just of the part how Russia is going to avoid limited access or lost access to dollar and to SWIFT. And I think, so in parallel to that, Russia is trying to develop its own digital ruble, which might be also used for trade. But again, I just think that Russia tries to be creative and to introduce different ways how it can do it and look for partners which will be willing to have trade with Russia and these currencies.
I do want to talk about that digital ruble with you a little bit more a little later on. But just the fact that Tehran and Moscow are having to look to these other technologies suggests that the sanctions are ultimately working and having the desired effect.
Yes, of course. And again, as Russia tries to find another solutions which are actually not very well tested, and we know so the volatility of cryptocurrencies, and also the idea that it's still not regulated within the country, but Russia already tried to reach out to other countries which are already under sanctions, and it means like Russia has troubles, and of course the sanctions which were introduced after the invasion work, and the idea is to find another solution which are not regulated and to put some regulation on their own terms. But I think Russia underestimates the cryptocurrency market at all, because we have seen also the drop of the crypto market in the previous months, and the future of cryptocurrencies market is simply not known in the next years, and that's why I think Russia just tried to find an alternative way.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Let's talk about the fact that Russia is not only looking at cryptocurrencies, which can be a little risky. Now, we've talked about Moscow's plans to work with Iran, but it is also increasingly pinning its future hopes on another adversary of the United States. China's government appears to be open to closer cooperation with the Kremlin. Russian plans to develop an e-ruble echo Beijing's ambitions for the digital yuan or digital renminbi. Central banks around the world have announced plans to create online versions of their national currencies. But are China and Russia moving ahead of the pack? Well, let's put that question to Alena. This could be a major move by Russia and China, couldn't it?
Yeah, China has already moved in this direction, and they tested the digital yuan for the last years, and it seems like so more and more people are involved in using digital yuan. In case of Russia, I'm not surprised that this idea appeared in the last years, because we have observed quite a well-developed financial technologies in Russia and digitalization of financial sector and digitalization of several parts of the economy. And again, in the situation where Russia looks for alternative payment system, so the idea of digital ruble is not that new, but I think now we see some more concrete proposals, and central bank decided to test digital ruble in the beginning of this year, and then later this year involved more institution in testing it. Yes, but again, I have no doubts that China is a pioneer in these technologies and will move quickly in this direction and involve more and more trading partners in that. In terms of Russia, again, it's still not clear, first of all, how it will be regulated. Again, there is no clear regulation yet. And then to what extent Russia will be able to do trade with other countries. But
actually, there's just something I just wanted to get you to explain. Just how is trading using a digital version of the ruble or a digital version of the yuan different to what they're already doing, which is trading with just the conventional ruble and the conventional yuan?
Yeah, well, this is the same idea to have an alternative payment system. So not an additional one, but in the prospects in the future to have supplement the ruble, to have supplement the ruble as fiat. And again, to create an alternative payment system which will exist beyond US dollar-based financial systems.
Okay, and just finally, Alena, is Russia's trade policy on course with all of these digital developments to actually end up being more advanced than its adversaries?
No, I'm not sure that they're more advanced. I think they are creative in a way how to find alternative ways, how to find a system which are still unregulated, and again to convince some partners which are maybe non-Western ones, or have also interest in trading with non-Western partners, and that's why Russia tries to do this way, but I still have some doubt that it will be successful.
Okay, well, with that, I will say thank you to Alena Epifanova from the German Council on Foreign Relations. Thank you so much for fielding all of those questions for us.
Thank you.
And I'll also say thanks a lot to you for watching. If you have enjoyed this, then do check out one of our other DW business specials. And you know what? I'll see you over there. Goodbye.